Keepers nervous, strikers, they'll deliver. Crowd roars erupted, you can feel the quake. 80,000 voices.
Recently, Chelsea have been linked to several strikers. So the question I want to pose to everyone on this video is, who should Chelsea sign? Which striker should Chelsea sign? You know, there's been talks of signing Sesko, you know, the RB Leipzig striker. There's been talk of Delap, the Ipswich striker. There's been talk of Victor Osimhen, Napoli striker on loan to Galatasaray, the Nigerian striker. And of course, there's also been talk about, you know, Jonathan David, the Leo striker, possibly will be a free agent come the end of the season. For me, there's only one name: Nigerian superstar striker Victor James Osimhen. He is the kind of striker I think Chelsea needs. He's got everything that Chelsea needs, you know, pace, strength, aggression, agility, leadership on the pitch, off the pitch, and he scores goals, which is the most important thing for a striker. So for me, I would want Victor James Osimhen, Nigerian Super Eagles striker. Someone say, oh, because he's Nigerian. Not necessarily. When you look at the Sesko, it has a very high upside, high ceiling. Delap, high ceiling, but not as high as Sesko in my opinion. But then again, you have the same thing of, they are very young. They are strikers that need to develop. They are strikers that need 1 or 2 more seasons, you know, to develop. And then what people don't get, the intangible people miss out on, is leading the line in a title-winning team. It's different. It's different. When you're a youngster, 20, 21, 22, you know, you're playing for a side, for sides like Leipzig, you know, for sides like Ipswich Town, with due respect to those sides, are not teams that you really look at and say, okay, these will be title contenders. These will be teams that will be competing for Champions League spots. You know, you don't really expect much from them. So if Leipzig finishes in the top 4 in the German Bundesliga, that's a good season for them. If they finish as second spot, that's a good season for them. And that's not even an expectation. That's a season where you go, wow, can you see, this was such an amazing season, amazing performance by RB Leipzig, amazing performance by the technical crew. Ipswich Town, if they're able to finish as 16th in the Premier League table, on Premier League table of 15th, that would be seen as an absolute achievement for McKenna's side. So for me, at this point of Chelsea's development, you don't need yet another kid. You don't need yet another young striker that you need 2 or 3 more seasons for them to come good. And especially strikers that don't have that sort of, you know, experience when it comes to playing in the big leagues, leading a team, that people play differently against you. And I try to let people understand this about Delap. Of course, he has potential. Of course, he has enormous upside. But one key thing that people miss out on, when you're playing against an Ipswich Town, like you're Manchester United, you're Arsenal, you're Liverpool, you're in Newcastle, even the Spurs, you don't go back thinking, oh, these guys are really going to hurt us because they're going to dominate the ball. You know, you play your high line, you press up high, and that gives him the time he needs to find himself 1v1 defenders, and he can bully them. But when you're playing for a side like Chelsea, despite the fact that Chelsea right now, you know, are barely in the top 4, you're playing for a side like Arsenal, you're playing for a side like Manchester United, even despite the fact that languishing, you know, in the second half of the table, teams play differently. Therefore, teams play your strikers differently. They are marked more tightly. You know, opposition defenders and midfielders are more physical with those strikers. So, Delap, it will be a different kettle of fish if he does join Chelsea, because he wouldn't have all the space, have all the time that he has, you know, while he plays for Ipswich Town. You know, I think Victor Osimhen right now is what Chelsea needs, not another youngster, you know, that you need to wait for 3, 4, 5 years. You have people talking about Sesko. You have people talking about Delap. You know, they're trying to put them on par with world-class strikers. But these are the same people that when or if Chelsea signs these strikers, and then you begin to place that expectation of that world-class expectation on these strikers, they'll be the ones to say, oh no, these are young kids. We should understand they're young kids. At this point in time, Chelsea doesn't need, you know, another young kid. You've got Kendrick Pie is coming in. Whether he'll belong to Strasbourg is left to be seen. You've got Estevao William coming in, another young kid. You know, there's even talk of Emmanuel Mega as a target. I like him. He's 6'5". I think if you're going to sign any of the three youngsters that him, Emmanuel Mega, Benjamin Sesko, and Liam Delap, I would go for Emmanuel Mega. Why? Because he will be cheaper. He will be cheaper. That's just it. It comes to a question of price. If you're talking about those three, like if you're talking about Sesko, Emega, and Delap, I would say go for Emega. He's bigger. I think he and Sesko are on the same height, 6'5", they're about, and they're taller than Delap. So maybe it's a question of price. If you're talking about just those three. But if you're talking about strikers to sign a striker for Chelsea, for me, I will go with Victor Osimhen, because I think he's got everything you need in a striker. And at this point of Chelsea's development and sort of projection, that is who you need. That's who you need. You need someone that you have your Jacksons can learn off of, and not someone that falls into the same category as your Jackson, still learning their trade, still coming to terms with it. Because for me, I don't want a situation where 3-4 years down the line, you still say, oh, this team is too young, they can't compete. They're just too young, they can't compete. For me, no. Victor Osimhen should be the striker you sign. He has everything you need in a striker. So I want to know your thoughts and opinions on this, and let me know in the comment section. And please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, share this video and let other people see it, and like the video as well. And at this point, I've come to the end of this video, and I'll see you hopefully on yet another video. So stay well and stay blessed. Bye bye.